Hello, sir.
Hi Neha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, very well.
Thank you so much for being part of Grab the Clock and giving your precious time to all of us.
Not at all, it's a very good topic, and I've been watching your videos. They're very well made and good conversation, so I'm happy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, we all are looking forward to your writings, and I'm very excited to know. First of all, that the questions which I get was everybody wants to know that how you actually, from a public administration to TEDx speaker to motivational speaker, then how you come across with the author within you, how you started writing.
Yeah, actually, I started writing before all these things. I started writing in school and college. So I became a writer before becoming a speaker or an officer. And I wrote for the college magazine every year. 4 years I was in the engineering college in Kurukshetra, NIT Kurukshetra. I wrote for a magazine called Balkan. And every year my article would appear. After getting into a career, I kept trying to write whenever I could. So it went on like that.
That's amazing. So there's a writer within you since your childhood. I should say this.
Absolutely. And the books came much later because the books came when I started writing for newspapers for about 10 years. Then I realized that I can also write a book. So my first one came in 2011, which was called Move On Bunny. The second one came in 2014, which was Dubeji Bounces Back. And now the third one in 2020, which is, of course, Finding Success Within, which I have here for you to see.
That is so good. I was going through your book, that was Dubeji Wali, and it is funny, but it somewhere is having a very deep meaning. And I'm sure that when we read such things, we somewhere it changes our mindset. But we need such authors like you. So there are so many people who really wants to write. But when we are writing, we have so many thoughts in our mind, so many scattered thoughts. So how you really managed to write and how you really discovered that this is what I want to write and this is how I need to pen down?
Yeah, so the writer actually keeps thinking all the time. You can't just sit down and write without having thought about what you're going to write. So, for example, I have a fortnightly column in the Hindustan Times, which is called Random Forays. So I write once in 14 days, right? But I think about it almost for a week. So I think, what am I going to write on? For example, now I wrote on young achievers, and I wrote on how they become depressed, and I give Sushant's example of Sushant Singh Rajput. So I think about it for a week or so, that these are the points, and if I have to note them down, I'll note them down. So a writer actually is also a thinker. So he has to keep on thinking about his subject and how he's going to structure, what are the points. And in a book, what happens if you're writing for 6 to 8 months a story, then you actually become that person who is in the story, or you think like that person. Even when you're sitting in a meeting, even I was in the government, I used to be sitting in the meeting and thinking about my book, what am I going to write next? So it happens, you take notes then there and then you go back home and type it out, whatever.
That's amazing. So you will keep on thinking about your book.
Yeah, you have to. You can't switch off, because it's not like a project like, you did some job and that's over. A book is something, or a writing piece is something that lives inside you. So you really have to walk the talk and live with it. Only then you'll write well.
That's amazing. So what I would really like to ask you is the first step for a writer to begin with, and how to really know कि हमें कौन से genre की book लिखनी है. Because we have so many thoughts. Sometimes हम बहुत खुश होते हैं, sometimes हम बहुत दुखी होते हैं, sometimes emotions are so many emotions, situations बदलती है life में, बहुत सारी चीजें होती है. तो how you actually focus on one thing, that this is what I have to write?
Yeah, so that's a very important question, Neha, because that is what we are talking about today, discovering the writer within you. So what happens, first of all, we all read nice things and we like them. We read a book, we read a poem, we read a story and we like it. Some of us get inspired to write and others don't. So when you have read something that you really like, then you wonder, can I also write something? Can I also make progress as a writer? So some of us, when we are teenagers or we fall in love or we are, after somebody, you can say, then we start writing. So we
Yes.
write letters, we write stories, or we can write poetry, depends on how affected we are. But later we go through kind of a process of transformation. So we need not write about romance. We can write romance, we can write mystery, we can write murder, we can write drama, we can write horror. These are all fiction. We can write humor, and humor
Yes.
is something I picked up. So in my case, what happened? I'll give you my example, then others can also see how it happens. So in my case, I started observing society a lot, and I found that people at a bus stand, people at a waiting room, they behave in a particular way. So the little child will be pulling the mother, I want a packet of chips or something. The father will be, looking at his phone. So there are so many behaviors. So I started writing about these in little middles in the Tribune, and I made them humorous very, very effortlessly. And then it became very easy for me to write humor. But now I write about society, so I evolved into something more also. So two genres which I write are humor and social issues, and both of them I enjoy.
So a writer can write so many things, having so many emotions. So is it important to really stuck on one thing? Like, I have observed, and so many people have observed, that one writer keeps on writing about the romance, for example, and there are some writers who just follow one path. And there are some writers who are very versatile, like you said, that you have chosen two things. So what is the right way of, or what's your opinion about it?
Yeah, I forgot to mention I have three things. So also brings out the spark in me. Like, for example, today is the 37th anniversary of India's 83 World Cup win, when
Yes.
Kapil Dev lifted the World Cup. Today is that day. So I'm inspired to write something. By evening, I'll write something on that. And then, that also comes. So your question is very right. Everybody cannot become a multi-dimensional writer. Everybody can be, but everybody can write something or the other. So some people are by nature very cool and happy-go-lucky and creative also. They can think up situations and they can imagine. This imagination is also something very elusive for some people. You tell people to sit in a group and imagine themselves flying in an aeroplane to the place of their dreams. Of course, in a lockdown, it's very difficult to imagine anything, but one day we will. So some people will imagine everything. They'll imagine the plane, they'll imagine the drinks, they'll imagine the air hostess, they'll imagine the food, they'll imagine the feeling, the neighbor, and they will imagine how they get off, they'll imagine the location. Whereas other people will not even be able to imagine beyond that, just sitting in the plane and not even able to understand it. Imagination is something which helps a writer. And when a writer is able to imagine something of his choice or his love or his passion, that is something which gives him the fire to write. So, for example, if you are a romantic kind of person and you feel like writing romance, then poetry is something which comes easy to people. They write a lot. I know a lot of people who write poetry and don't even share it. They just keep it to themselves. They write a little blog about that. So these are also, and then somebody might really be fascinated by drama and mystery. So Agatha Christie was the greatest mystery writer, as you know. And she wrote a character called Hercule Poirot and Mrs. Marple. So creating those things becomes a fascination. Somebody else might be a non-fiction writer, very good at, let's say, life skills, or like I wrote this book on life skills, or very good at, something like a technical issue. So something on economics or commerce. So they'll write that. So everybody has his own fire, and everybody has his own reason to write. Very few people can write on diverse fields.
So what, according to you, is the most challenging? I'm sure everything is challenging when it comes to writing on a paper, and when you are writing for so many people, actually for the society, when you are writing. So what is more preferable, I would say, writing something very realistic kind of a thing, or imagining and writing and make up story about something and go deeper into imagination and then writing? So what is more challenging and more interesting, which you find?
I think people might differ on this answer, but in my case, I feel, or anybody's case, I think it is more difficult to write fiction. It is more difficult to write fiction because fiction needs not only imagination, it needs credibility also. You have to describe something well. You have to have the language to describe it. You have to get the reader gripped into your book. Otherwise, after 10 pages, the reader will leave your book. And you have to write with, some magnetism has to be there. So you have to get the conversation flowing. You have to get the characters being developed. It's not easy to write fiction at all. People who can make others, readers, laugh while reading a book, cry while reading a book, be scared while reading a book, or be very happy or feeling in love while reading a book. These are great writers, and it is very, very difficult. Non-fiction is also difficult because you have to look for perfection. If you're writing on emotional intelligence, for example, Neha, emotional intelligence, I speak on it. But I can't write a book because I'm an engineer. I can speak, but I don't have the depth someone from psychology might. So non-fiction is a technical area. You'll write about something, you'll describe something very much in depth. But then some people write books like, chicken soup books, or some people write books like Robin Sharma writes these beautiful books, self-help. So they come from experience and they are not that technical, but there's an art to write those also.
So, do you think that our emotions impact our writing?
Yeah, definitely. Our emotions impact our writing, especially if we are passionate about something. Supposing I write a political book, and I am a great fan of one particular, fan of Barack Obama. Let's not talk about Indian politician. So Barack Obama, being Barack Obama, I am a great fan of his. I will write a book which is full of, adulation and admiration for Barack Obama. So my liking for him or my emotions in that respect will come. And if I'm writing, like I can quote somebody else, a senior colleague of mine in the government, Mr. S.P. Singh, and I'll remember to send him this video later. He wrote a book on sadhana, and sadhana, not meditation Kali sadhana, but the actress sadhana. And sadhana was his muse. All his life he's been in love with her, and his wife also knows it. And his wife actually helped him, I think, to write the book. And sadhana is on the cover, sadhana is everywhere. So emotions definitely play a part, and your likings, your love, your passion. If I am passionate about hockey or cricket, then I'll write a very, well-written book. But if I pick up a topic which I'm not very familiar with, let's say I pick up a topic called IPR, intellectual property rights. I'm not an expert. I know about it, but I'm not an expert. I can't write a great book on that. So that's what.
Okay. So what is your favorite, if I ask that, what is your favorite genre of writing? Humor, or you want to diversify yourself? And even if it's like that, like you are writing on sports, now you are writing for all of us, all the youth, for the society you are writing. So what makes you, diversify yourself, or I would say help yourself in writing in so...
Here, which is my favorite book, and this is my favorite genre nowadays, spirituality. So this is autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. It is a life-changing book, and I love autobiographies nowadays. I read them, but this book especially I really love, and I've talked about it also. And the second is humor. You rightly said, P.G. Wodehouse, great author Wodehouse. He could make magic out of a page in a book. He could make you smile 1,000,000 times in a book, and his books still are so popular. Humor is something which is more difficult to write. You can write a gripping story more easily. You have a policeman, you have a old lady, you have a young man, the lights went off, the dog was barking. Let me describe a scene for you. There was a whiff of some scent was coming. Suddenly there is a scream in the darkness. Suddenly the person who is the hero, he loses his slipper on the way, he's running down the stairs, he trips, there is some water. I mean, it's easy to describe, relatively easy to describe a scene in a mystery. But to make someone laugh and smile from humor is more difficult in my view. And very few people can actually excel in that and make it happen.
So what do you enjoy the most? Writing articles for the newspaper, writing a book, or writing the four-liners like all the poets and romantic kind of things? So what you really enjoy?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Neha. I enjoy my writing. I think I enjoy a book the most because it's lasting, right? So 3 books I've written, they are lasting. So a person goes away from this world, but the book remains. And your book can reach the hands of anybody. And when that person is sitting like, this is my book, if somebody is holding my book in his hand and reading, so I am there with that person in that book. So the personality that I have, and through my writing, it becomes part of that person's life for at least a few days when that person is reading. So I think a book is a very powerful medium. And a person who's reading my story connects with me. Even 500 years earlier, if somebody wrote a book and I have that book in my lap, I am connected to that person who died so long ago. And that person's thoughts are in my thoughts. His or her, whatever writing might be gripping me a lot. I can't wait to get back. So I think a book gives me more joy. But yes, my column also gives me joy because I write it every fortnight. I write some other humorous pieces for my Facebook page and my LinkedIn. So I'm on Instagram also, I write. So I like writing all genres. The book is number 1.
That's great. And there was a question, that somebody asked me that, the world is changing so fast. We have so many technologies. We have so many audio books. We have so many. आजकल movies बन जाती हैं. हर एक कोई भी अच्छी book होती है या कोई भी book होती है. We make a movie on it, and people prefer to have that 2-hour theater on a laptop than spending 2 days or 2 hours on a book. So what do you think that, what is the, how to tackle this situation, or how to, I would say, get people have that interest getting back to the books? So because, if I see even in the schools, everything is going on technology, and we are little bit losing that personal touch with the hard copies. So in this era, how would you say that, just get back to the books, the hard copies, and the smell of books, marking?
I agree with you absolutely. The hard copy book, nothing like it. People even say, the smell of the paper, the feel of the page, and that book in your hand, it is a different feeling. However, let me tell you that more people are reading on the Kindle, as you know, and on the phone nowadays. So there's no harm for a writer to be read anywhere. Like my column is all read electronically. Very few people read the newspaper column. And these days, actually, since the lockdown, my column is only appearing on the website. It will come back to the newspaper after maybe the lockdown, this more eases up a little more. So people are reading a lot electronically, which is fine. But I have a TEDx talk on the fact that people are not, as a whole, on the whole, reading more. So reading and writing is something especially for young people. जो बड़े हो रहे हैं उनको बहुत जरूरी है बुक पढ़ना, ताकि वो बुक पढ़ के उनकी पर्सनालिटी अच्छी डेवलप होती है, and then they become complete rounded individuals. I always say that in a gathering or a party or a group, I can make out that this young man or this young lady is a book reader because she or he is talking in that manner. Somebody who's read 10 books has more to say and more constructive things to say than someone who's read only one book or no book. So it's something that we need to do. Everybody needs to read books. Movie देखना भी अच्छा है. So everybody is diverse in this world.
Yes.
There are people who find time to watch movies and not books. But I think everybody should try and read at least a couple of books every month, or one per month at least. Then 1 year down the line, you've read 12 books and you are much more knowledgeable than you work. Then books give you a lot of depth in your life. I'm quite sure that people can read more than they do.
I think reading is what I remember that I started reading when I was in +1. That my first novel was that, The Two States. That was my first novel, and that was the beginning of my reading. And I never stopped reading. And when I was going through your book, I could feel that there are so many emotions going on these books. And when I met you at that point of time, last year when I met you, I could feel that writer is something who is kind of more intellectual, and reading really helps. I read somewhere that if you are reading something, you can go on a world tour, because you can read so much. You don't need to present somewhere. Like, I don't need to go to Paris. I can read it on a paper, and that will remain with me forever.
Absolutely, there are things that people love, various kinds. Some people love food, right? Some people love music. Some people are still there who really love books. But in this era, unfortunately, what happens, books are, they are 200 rupees, paperbacks. They used to be 200. Shoes were 200 rupees at one time.
Yeah.
But today, shoes are, how much shoes cost. A sports shoe will cost you 10,000 or 8,000 rupees, a good sports shoe. So books remain the same, and things like shoes and accessories and wear, they become much more expensive. So books are not really in the priority list of the retail sector or the commercial market at all. And what is in the priority is expensive things. So people also, those of a materialistic kind, who are more into fashion and purchase and shopping, and there's no harm, I'm not criticizing anyone. But those who are into, only that, and don't find time to read or listen to music or paint or play sports or do some photography, they need to become a little more creative. And being creative will give them that edge in life, especially younger people. They are from a very well-placed family, need to find some creativity. And books are the best. Nobody's saying read all the books in the world. Nobody's saying read what others are reading. You read what you love reading. And that's the best part. I, as an author, love it when somebody tells me that your book was useful to me, or they liked it. I've seen so many people who have sent me photographs that we've got your book now. So it makes me so happy. So that's how life should be.
That's great. Yes, we actually impact our lives through your words. Words can change. We have seen history. So many authors and philosophers, they have changed it. So we have a question here that what are the challenges which you actually faced while writing your first book, or I would say now also? What are those challenges which you face?
Yeah, it's a very good question. A book writer or even an author of a column gets challenged by time, by the fact that maybe your mind is not working, you're tired. If you're a busy person and you're also a writer, then it's difficult to balance both. At the end of the day, your mind is, you really can't think very creatively, especially when you spend too much time with electronics and other things. So it's a very difficult thing. But I think it's possible to be finding time. Like, for example, I usually, when I wrote my book, I used to write 30 minutes in the morning and before going to work. And it would be maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, write fresh minded and really enjoy it. And later, maybe Sundays, you can take out 2 or 3 hours and 1 hour also and write. It is dedication that is required. Sometimes it is very challenging, and you have to know that this baby you are creating is not easy to create, and this baby, when it comes into your hands, then that joy will come. So I think a writer, I see some authors, in fact, on this chat, it's nice to see them. I think Simran is there, Yuvika is there. They are both authors, published authors, and they know when this book comes in the hand, they actually are, it's like labor of love. And then once you've tasted blood, as they say, once one book has come, then you find it easier to churn out more books, because it's very, very easy to do so after that. Once the first book might be more difficult, after that you know how happy you are with one book, and therefore you go for another one and another one.
So that's truly inspiring, and this is what I have actually experienced. Like, that was my first book, and now the journey is on and on. So I really want to tell you that I have more than 400 books at my home. It's a mini library, and I really love to have those books.
Right.
So, but like I said, that there's a time of digitization, and there's so much of fast life going on. बहुत fast pace है, people have targets, goals, and a lot of things. And sometimes people say that reading a book is very boring. Like, there's a beginner's enthusiasm, reading first chapter, then few more pages and pages and pages. Then at the end, they'll be like, they keep a book side, and now they are busy with their own lives. So have you ever experienced this?
Yeah, that also happens. There are some books which I read only 1/3, or I read half, or I, got on to something else. Or sometimes what happens that you can't even find time for a month. Let's say you were reading a book, and then you have a busy point in your career. It happened many times with me. It still happens with me. So I left the book for 1 month. Then it doesn't really grip you that much, and you don't find the urgency to get back to it. Even the autobiography of a yogi, which I showed you, when I started reading it, it was difficult for me because it's a very deep book, and I couldn't focus. And I read 4 chapters, and then I left it, I tell you. But I probably grew, or I changed, or I evolved. A year later, when I picked it up, or 2 years later maybe, then I read it in one go. Though I didn't read it very quickly, but I didn't leave it. I just kept reading. And so it's also your evolution. Like a book on, let's say, meditation, or a book on, let's say, self-realization. You might not want it today, you may want it 5 years later. Some people, they come across difficulties in life, and then they want to read books like that. Otherwise, they don't want to. Everything is going hunky-dory. They want to party, and they want to have a good time and not read books.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So we think of the bigger picture. If we think of the bigger picture, then we'll get down to balancing our lives by reading, by writing, by sports, work, entertainment. Everything has to have its place.
That's true. We need to find out, and mostly we need to prioritize and see what is really important and needful for my life, so as to grow in our lives. And I really want to know, and that how what was that moment when you realized that I want, and I want to not just write, I want to publish, I want to become an author and share my work with people. Like you said, people just write and keep them in a diary and just forget that, like their own memory. So what made you publish your work and really share with us?
Yeah, I'm going to share. There's somebody who's asking a question. You can tell that person, please repeat your question so we can see it again, and then we'll answer it.
Her question is that, so her question is that since you were public administration, so you were preparing so hard, I'm sure, and it's years of experience you're having. So, people work so hard for the exams, but there are a lot of things happening. So how to really be consistent in your exams for the administration, for the public services, and how to really focus and not to give up on this for the particular exams.
Yeah. So that's not the topic of the day, but I'll answer the question. You see, I didn't appear for the exam because I came from the state civil service and I got promoted to the IAS. And but people who appear for the exam, I mentor them now. We have an academy also called Vivek IAS Career Academy. So I tell them that you have to be very regular, and you have to study smart, and you have to be creative in terms of finding out what is exactly required, and you have to be consistent. And when you are consistent, then you are going to make progress. Don't spend too much time on one topic. And we are talking about books today. Read more books. They will also give you more insight into the UPSC exam. For example, Nandan Nilekani is written about India. Robin Sharma also read. Sudha Murthy you can pick up. You can read anyone from economy. Then you can read about technology. You can read about agriculture. So books will help you also in your preparation. But coming back to your question, Neha, it was about publishing and starting to write. So I think there are three phases of an author's life. One is the writing part. The second is the publisher, finding the publisher and getting it published, which is also a tough journey. All authors know this. Writing the book is the first part. The second part is tough because the publisher may or may not be easy, may not be available. Then the agreement part and everything else. And the third part is the promotion. So now I am in my third phase of promoting my book. Wherever I go, I talk about my book. So you become a kind of walking, talking ambassador of your book. These are three different skills. The first is writing, which is very difficult and very creative and very involved. And you have to edit and you have to finish the product or the book. The second is a negotiation period or agreement period or finding a publisher where you are like an executive, a corporate executive. And the third, you are like a marketing PR person where you're your own ambassador. Nobody else is going to talk about your book if you don't talk about it. So my book is doing well. I'm very happy. But the more I talk about it, the more people get to know. And in this case, I really feel that I am also benefiting young people by telling them what life skills they need for success. So it's a win-win kind of situation.
So please, we all want to know about your recent book, and because it is for the society, it is for us, it is for the youth, and you were mentioning about the life skills. So please share something from your book. We all want to know this.
Yeah, so I'll share that I've written about the bigger picture and also the smaller picture in a sense. So the bigger picture, I've written about mindfulness being a quality that you need, which means that I'm focusing on the present moment. I am life skill most important is mindfulness, focusing on the present moment. Yet I have a perspective which is long term, which is wider, which is longer, which is deeper. So I am focusing on the present, but I know that I am an Indian, I have a family, I have a career. I won't do anything now which is rash, which is going to impact me in my career later, or I'm going to get into trouble with something. So I am focusing on the present, but I have the bigger picture in mind. This is the main balancing act. And there are so many life skills like, let's say, the things you need to do. You need to work on your communication skills, need to work on your personality skills, need to work on your confidence levels, need to work on your creativity, need to work on things like interpersonal relations, how you deal with people at home, how you deal with people at work. And then you also need to work on taking breaks and learning and rejuvenating yourself. So you cannot go along your journey just being what you were 20 years ago. You keep on inspiring yourself, rejuvenating, reinventing yourself as far as possible. All these things are in the book. And one more thing I'll add from the book is emotional intelligence. How you deal with people, how you talk, how you carry yourself, how you handle difficult situations, and how you become a complete personality, all-rounder kind of person, rather than just being limited in your understanding of the world. So you have to be a people's person to be really successful.
I think this is the book which we really need at this present time when youth is, I won't say youth, but I think everyone are, emotionally so much challenging the situations and all. So I'm gonna go with my last question. So any one of you who are watching us, if they want to ask anything, they can post in the comment section. So this is my favorite interesting questions that I want to ask is, please share 3 Genie ways which we can apply in our life, which can help us to transform ourselves and live happily, and the 3 things which you will advise us and we can apply in our lives.
Yeah, so the first thing is positive thinking. Very, very few people are actually positive. Everybody says I'm positive, but the moment a WhatsApp comes that itne log bimar ho gaye, ye ho gaya, everybody's sitting down, heart is sinking, people are, scared and worried. When something is happening in the world, everybody in the world is affected. We all need to be positive. The positivity will really impact your life and change it for the better. The second skill is calmness. Calmness means calm your mind down. Don't be restless too much. For example, somebody is in a hurry and somebody's really always in an urgency. You don't need to be like that. You be cool and calm. Be there on time, but you don't need to be appearing to be so busy and so ruffled and so restless. So that is a calmness quality, which I think a lot of people will benefit if they look at it. And the third is cheerfulness, actually. Cheerfulness means that I am a person who loves to smile, laugh, be happy, and share happiness. What is the goal of life after all, Neha? The goal of life is happiness. Life is not success. And anybody whose inner happiness is high is someone who's cool and calm. Problems will come and go. So the great life skill is to be cheerful despite all obstacles. And today you're feeling low, tomorrow you bounce back. In the morning you get up again, okay, forget it. Yesterday is over. Now I'm going to go with full vigor. So this is the kind of philosophy that I try to follow. Sometimes I also feel low, I'm human, but I bounce back. And Deepak has encapsulated the three of them in his comment. So well done, Deepak.
Thank you so much, Deepak. And we have a question that books which you will recommend us to read, that we must read in our life.
Yeah, read lots of autobiographies. I think autobiographies inspire. Dalai Lama's autobiography, Usain Bolt's autobiography, J.R.D. Tata, Dilip Kumar, even Yuvraj Singh. You can read, I mentioned already my favorite book, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. So autobiographies are the ones I recommend, because when we read somebody's story who's already been through ups and downs, then we understand that life is not that bad or that difficult. All our fears and worries will go away one day. You learn from Amitabh Bachchan's story, for example. Amitabh Bachchan didn't get a job in All India Radio. उन्होंने बोला उनका आपकी आवाज ठीक नहीं है, अमिताभ बच्चन की आवाज ठीक नहीं है, और उसके बाद हिंदुस्तान लीवर में जॉब नहीं मिला. Then he wasn't successful in movies also. Then somebody cast him in Saath Hindustani or something like that. I think it was K. Abbas. So then you know how he fought and struggled. So life is about learning from people who inspire you. Learn from Sachin Tendulkar, learn from Virat Kohli, learn from great public figures who have done very well in life, and then we learn how to be more happy and successful.
That's great. We all want to read all this, and we have one last question, that when we are in interview, how can we be calm?
In the interview?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're talking about a job interview, which is different from Neha's interview with me, this interview is very easy, I must tell you. It's a piece of cake. We are talking about books, and I love talking about books. I am feeling as if I can go on for hours. The point is that when you are in a job interview, again, you have to be yourself. You have to be cool and calm. Like Dhoni, yes. You have to understand that if you try to be someone else, they will see through you. So go with confidence, but be yourself. Speak in the language which you know. Don't learn 5 difficult words before the interview. और वहाँ जाके उनको प्रयोग करेंगे तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा. You won't be able to use them properly. So be very cool and calm, and then you'll be absolutely fine. Harbhajan Singh told a story, Neha, on Kapil Sharma's show. He never knew English. He was a great cricketer, but when he started, he didn't know English at all. And now he's so good at his English. So he says that हम line में खड़े थे, all cricketers. I was a 14-15-year-old boy, under 15 or whatever. और chief guest came and he used to ask 2 questions to everybody, शुरू से लेके आखिर तक. What is your name? Where are you from? तो इन्होंने 2 लड़कों ने practice कर लिया. What is your name? मतलब हरभजन. Where are you from? Jalandhar. And when he came to me, he says he didn't ask that. He says, where are you from? He says, Harbhajan. He says, what is your name? He says, Jalandhar. So ये सब इंटरव्यू से पहले आप लास्ट मिनट पे प्रेपरेशन नहीं करिए. Learn from people who have grown in life. Be yourself. उसमें कोई शर्माने वाली बात नहीं. And just go there and try and be transparent and sincere, and you'll do very well.
That's amazing. And we're going to have these 3 Ginny ways which he suggested to us. And we all will be applying these ways, and we will be reading. And I really want that please show us the book so that we can have a look of a book, and we can go and read this book after this. And we really want to see this book. So this is the book.
and this is
Great.
available on Amazon, and you can read it and find out more about life and how to be successful. And Neha, I must thank you for inviting me, and what a lovely conversation on books and reading. Wonderful to be talking about books. It's a great topic, and it's a long time since I spoke on this topic, so I'm really happy.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for giving your precious time and sharing these three wonderful things and your books with all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.